As the classics like Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix. But the biggest parallel could be drawn to the king himself. Elvis, like Eminem, owed much of his cultural significance and commercial success to black music. And later into his career, Elvis also fell into the dark depths of drug addiction. So when Eminem overdosed again in 2007, this time on methadone capsules, the equivalent to shooting up to 4 bags of heroin, it seemed the white boy with the acid tongue and the celebrity slams was about to follow in Elvis's footsteps and leave the building permanently. And that just might have happened, if not for an old friend.
Dr. Dre is the name, I'm ahead of my game.
Like he's done with Snoop back in LA, Dr. Dre had discovered Eminem in his early days in Detroit.
Dre was my credibility like worldwide for everybody to just stop and listen to the white boy.
Nowadays, everybody wanna talk.
And over the past 12 years, the two have become longtime friends and collaborators.
Stop coming up to me.
We've grown to become pretty good friends, you know what I'm saying? Our working relationship is incredible. We vibe incredible in the studio. We're not afraid to tell each other, you know, something's whack, something sucks, or something is hot. It's not just me making these records. He's an excellent producer himself.
But this time around, teaming up wouldn't be so easy.
We had planned a trip to get in the studio. You know, I had a pretty bad case of the writer's block, like the past, 3 years before that. And it was, I mean, not writer's block in the sense that I couldn't write anything, but writer's block in the sense of everything that I was writing was, and literally nothing came out of any of the sessions.
After numerous failed attempts in the studio with Dre, it became painfully obvious the odds were stacked against Eminem. With writer's block plaguing him,
I was pretty stopped up.
a serious drug problem looming over him,
I'm sure the pills had a lot to do with it.
and an old demon threatening to resurface, it looked as if the road to recovery wasn't meant to be. Writer's block gone, and new Dre beats filling his ears.
Kind of like a kid in the candy store. Sonically, nobody makes tracks like Dre does. I think he was making like 12, 15 beats a day, and every track that he was making just was like, caught my ear in a different way. These 4 or 5 of them off each CD, I was writing songs to and coming back like the next day, the next 2 days, and like, I got something to this, I got something to this. It was great to be able to put the beats aside, stop doing them, and just focus on the rhyme.
Man, it's horrible.
M came up with so many rhymes that by March, he announced there wouldn't be 1, but 2 albums released in 2009.
That's how the Relapse concept came about. The Relapse record was that particular trip. I think we did between 8, 10 songs, something like that. And once that happened, it was, the ball was rolling. And then 2 albums came out of it.
But in April, with the release of the We Made You video, Eminem revealed that his recent musical proliferation may have been misguided. M had gone back to the cheap thrills of freaking people out and pissing people off. Slim Shady had returned, but this time, the jokes were lame, the digs stale, and the rhymes pointless. With the exception of a handful of tracks, Relapse was a regression.
In fact, let's be honest, at last Relapse CD was at.
Eminem was behind in the times. Being doped up in his basement with the same DVDs on repeat for close to 3 years had clearly left M out of touch. But one old school habit was still working for him, putting pen to paper. So for the next 6 months, M put his disappointment with Relapse behind him and kept writing. And like it had so many times in the past, crafting rhymes became therapy for Eminem. That finally helped M get sober. By November, M announced Refill would be released before Christmas. It would contain the power packed forever. Sobering up and spending time with fresh new minds like Lil Wayne, Kanye, and Drake had agreed with Eminem. He finally looked to be on track for the comeback his fans had hoped for. Then came April 13th, 2010. With the hip-hop throne seemingly his to reclaim, Eminem took the music world by surprise by tweeting, "There is no relapse 2." Fans went into an instant frenzy. And it looked like after a brief resurgence, Eminem was about to fall off the music scene again. But when it comes to the king of shock, old habits die hard. M just felt the new album needed a fresh name because the music had come out very differently than on Relapse.
There was too much material to put on one record, but there was also a lot of material that kind of started sculpting itself into, this is what I want people to hear first, and I want them to hear this. You know what I mean? So it kind of just morphed into, it wasn't really planned, it just, you know, it just happened.
Another tweet quickly followed that read, "Recovery."
Just gonna stand there and watch me burn. That's alright, because I like the way it hurts.
Recovery was released June 21st, 2010, and sold just under 750,000 copies in its first week. By July, it was the 5th best-selling album in the U.S., and as of late October, the album has sold over 2.8 million copies.
I'm not afraid. It's been a ride.
But even more important than sales, Recovery profiles a new, more mature Eminem who just recently triumphed over his personal struggles with death, drug addiction, and rediscovering his art.
You can try and read my lyrics.
Eminem has moved forward in a new direction, that of moral responsibility. So where does all of this leave Slim Shady? We'll just have to wait and see.
Everybody, come take my hand, come take my walk, let's come together.